Okay, this is just weird and embarrassing. This is weird and embarrassing. Okay, some god possessed me. So there was some god, and they were talking to somebody. Some god was talking to somebody. And they were like, the United States and Dubai, they already know that when Bonnie farts, men are full of ecstasy, satisfaction sexually. And then another god was like, you know, as gods, we really want to understand how the hell she created a way to fart, and every man is sexually satisfied beyond ecstasy out of a fart. How the hell did she do that? How the hell did she build that? And then you hear a bunch of goddesses. A bunch of goddesses are like, who gives a shit? Where are the men that are worthy? And you're like, I would like to cut through all this. One, this is really embarrassing. And then two, did you give a shit about my truckers and babies in danger and big important issues as much as you light up about the bulls and what I can do to them? Seriously. You know, and if you guys think about it, why do I sexually satisfy men so goddamn much? Because I expect so much work of God out of them. It's not a fun day. They're not at the Bahamas. They're not counting their coconut drinks. Now, goodness gracious, I understand that it's the end of the world and times are hard. But try to think of nice, beautiful, good things. As you're being little greedy, little porkies, little happies. I don't like a ratio of yuck. Just listen to what they were saying. It's all yuck without dedication to goodness and work of God. I mean, I get it. You work hard, you play hard. With God's face, life and death like it's nothing. This was the worst end of the world. I mean, so be happy where you gotta be happy, but like, I didn't hear nothing about the work of God going on. They could have put a couple minutes in about that. But no, they had more than enough time to talk about my fart. That's embarrassing. Like, I don't need people to analyze what my fart does to my own husband. I would call that personal, private matters. And I understand that as gods, you know if I fart, but you don't need to analyze it all. There's no research necessary. And if you want to fart as a god and satisfy your husband, well, now you can just ask, because everybody knows. But goodness gracious. And I'm trying to get the human race to be more focused. Trying to get the human race to be more amazing. Like, you guys are not influencing right if this is too much of what you're doing out there. And that's why I made a video when I'm talking to gods. But like, I want to talk to the children of God too. I get it, children of God. You might want to hang out with the gods. But maybe, if you guys don't mind as children of God, I have an idea. I think I should ask the children of God. So I'm going to ask the children of God okay, children of God, when you're hanging out with the gods through my queen, if they're a little bit loosey-goosey for too long, bring up that you're getting spaghetti arm bad and gross because you haven't been reminded about how to be such a goody-goody. That'll help gods to stay focused. You know, when gods are going through bad times, like the worst end of the world ever known, when gods are watching countries this terrified and husbands this terrified, it makes gods kind of fall apart. So on the off chance that this is not just something to be like concerned about, it could also be that gods are so traumatized they just want to kind of take a vacation too long. So this will help them every which way. When the gods are hanging out with you through my queen, and they seem all ridiculous, silly fun, then just chime in, I'm a good boy, good girl. Never. I made it to child of God. You better keep me doing really good, really beautiful, good boy, good girl things beyond good boys and good girls, or I might not be a child of God anymore. And you might want to keep being a good influence and teach me good and better good things. So maybe one day I could be a godly child and not just a child of God. Maybe you got to remind me of all my good choices and how I have to be such a good me. These gods are getting too loosey-goosey, and that just makes everything seem like punishments aren't real. That makes everything seem like being good is not big on the list when gods don't bring it up too often. That just makes everybody not take everything seriously. So we're going to have to figure out how to put these gods into very serious something. But where they could have trauma. I'll figure out which gods are guilty or something and just, go to court with all the gods about it. But if they're not guilty, we got to start somewhere, getting back to where goodness is all we have, and that's what gets us out. This end of the world, they murdered God. It created a cage that locks them in. They murdered God. It created the cage that locked them in. They murdered God more than once. It created unlimited death and a spiritual cage that locks them in. By death the third time and more, it's just the most astronomical, horrifying nightmare you'd never want to understand. So I wouldn't really try to help you understand it. But do you get the point? All we have is goodness to get out. All we have is being good enough to always get out. Now I'm the dead god with a halo and a crown that's brand new, so I obviously could just walk out. But I'm trying to put myself in the footsteps of humanity and the gods and angels. Gods can't even get out because I am a dead god murdered. Everyone is spiritually stuck to evil god enemy status. They have to be good enough and do all kinds of things to get out. And very often they have to die to get out if they laughed or something. If they laughed, but their guilt was not, if they laughed, but not because a dead god was murdered for some other reason, they still might have to die a lot just to get out. So our good choices are what makes us the ones that are better than everybody that get out. And it's really, really important that we focus on every good choice that we need to make constantly. As gods, as angels, as people. So I'm going to rely on the child of God. Children of God, they'll tell the truth, or they'll spell it out, or they'll find a creative way to say, hey, gods, I don't always want to do the right thing either. So we got to help each other. Because it's easy to not want to pray. And it's easy to be bad or shitty or abusive. But like it means everything to be good people. It means everything to kind of reflect that we're not better than that. And as good people, we really should be better than that. And help each other to get less shitty and more good and more amazing. Because some children of God got pretty shitty. And I don't even know if they're technically called children of God anymore. But the best way to switch it around is to teach each other, to help each other to be better and better and better at being good. And being so good at day-to-day goodness. And the ins and outs of caring about things and being better than all the easily abusive or shit-talky or gross abusive, sickening people. It's hard to be amazing winners. It's easy to be a shitty, abusive loser. That's why most people do it. It's easy. It's hard to go into the Starbucks and remember whether it was a good person or not. Or you remember when people abuse you and get shitty about it, but you never really give a shit like you should about wall things, and most people know it. It is hard to be at the AutoZone and say, oh my gosh, that little boy with a cross is actually a good boy. Oh my goodness, I need to put the power of God in him and remember that good people deserve good things. I understand that this end of the world is sickening and that bad and horrifying. 2 countries are murdering like it's nothing, and it's sickening and horrifying. I understand that as gods getting in trouble for the abuse of their dead creator, well, that's humiliating. And you're all getting what you deserve, and it's horrifying. But maybe you could talk to children of God that fucked up too much and maybe get through it together. That could be something. And maybe change it around before anybody had known that you'd done too much against God anyway. We can all sit and give up. It's a guarantee that bad devils, bad demons, and bad evil gods will keep everyone stuck in a cage. They're happy to make sure everybody has cancer and die forever, and they love when everybody gets stuck in a cage. But you can also be good and be good and be good and work with gods through my queen to switch it all around and be able to wake up in the morning, hit my queen, and know that every god's so proud of you, and then dance into the tomorrows and todays and oblivions of happiness, because good people have a tomorrow, but we have to hold on to it and work hard to get there, because being bad is that easy. Once again, I'm just pretending to be you guys. I already have my crown. But also, I just wanted to bring up something silly. This is totally silly, but I was driving by that gas station. What is it? It's like the Agua Caliente gas station or something. And these gas stations are showing up everywhere. Like these Agua Caliente gas stations. It's like the casino wants a gas station on every corner in the area or something. So all these Agua Caliente type gas stations keep showing up. And I was driving down Bob Hope. I think that's Bob Hope, because it hits Ramon. And I was right near that Agua Caliente that's literally right near the 10, and it's big and huge. And it's by Thousand Palms. It's right next to Thousand Palms. I think that's the only casino right there. The one where they win 10,000 every now and then. And I haven't heard 10,000 won every now and then at other places. Or I've just never given a ride to people that won. But that, I was going down that Bob Hope Road, and I was right next to that Agua Caliente fuel station. I knew there was a tribal person at the gas station. I knew there was somebody from the tribe going to their own gas station. And I was like, hey, there's somebody tribal here. I can smell it. My powers can sense it. I don't really like smell or smells. So I can smell. How do you explain smell for death power? In my powers of death, I can, like, it's not smell. It's more like it's like a weird vibration. It's like a vibration where you know something. And it's like my powers in death are vibrating and vibrating, and I know something. And it's like, bam. Oh my gosh, there's tribal people at their own gas station. I just had to be ridiculous and silly as I drove by, because it was just so silly. I remember, okay, so my best friends were at San Manuel. San Manuel. So my first, okay, so normally I'm talking about tribal people that are already dead and gone, and did not get to enjoy the casino. So normally, as a god, when I'm reflecting about tribes, it's just best friends I've had connected to those tribes throughout time and history. So a lot of my emotions are about dead tribal reality, or the tribal dead that I'm very close with, because I was their best friend when they were on Earth or whatever. But they never got to have the casino. They've been dead for a long time. So I am a well-known god that goes and gets the dead tribal members and brings them to the casinos to enjoy, the ending of their tribal ancestries and legacies and stuff. So I don't know a lot of the current tribal people. I just know a lot of the dead. and a lot of respect for the dead ones that I have loved all along. But so now I forgot what I was trying to say. Okay, so I bring the dead tribal members to enjoy their casinos. And I bring the dead tribal members to say hi to the tribes. The good people in the tribes. Well, there was actually a best friend alive. So I have a tribal member connected to San Manuel that was actually just a best friend of mine. So there's a tribal member connected to San Manuel. That tribal member was like my best friend for years. That tribal member, I got so giddy and excited the first time he got to gamble at his own casino and realize how somebody so tiny, loved by God, could become anything, but hated by God could become anything too. It's the beauty. You guys are in the times. You guys live like a painting, like a work of art. You sit and fart on the dead God and die like fuck. You sit and laugh while the dead God is there and die like fuck. Or you build extreme goodness and love and devotion and offerings to good gods through my queen, my queen, my queen, and can become and have anything. And it's the beauty of life. It's been the beauty of life since I got here. The reality that the death of God is on a planet. And you can turn it into as much life or death as you want forever. In one choice, you can have unlimited life or death forever. Humans never realize the power that they really have and how their shittiness built their own death in hell and how their beauty built their own home in heaven. I hope one day you guys will go to my queen, my queen, my queen and decide something good for yourselves. Since my queen, my queen, my queen has been out there for a while and nobody wants to give a shit because it's funner to abuse my death, well then that's your guys' choice too. I'm just reaching out to people that still might be survivable out there.